I was 3 years old. My sister, Bertha, decided to take me on a bike ride. She put me in the back of the bike, and we went. I had just learned how to walk. She went around the corner, and my foot went right into the back wheel. Bang! Screamed, hollered, much pain, a little bit of blood. She stopped the bike in horror, grabbed a hold of me, ran back to my mom's house, and my mother screamed at her, grabbed me, jumped in the car, went to the hospital. They patched up my foot. I don't remember a thing about it, but I know I had to learn how to walk again after that because they had it in a bandage for a couple of months. So anyway, that was my first experience with my sister. And when my mother came home from the hospital, she told me that Bertha was sitting at the porch like this, crying her eyes out because of what the mistake she had made. So I think that influenced her life. She gave me as much love as she possibly could. I was like her first child. I'm sure of it. She probably changed my diaper. She helped me with manners at the table. She did everything for me. My mother had 5 children, so I was the baby, so I was the last one. So my sister took over. She was 10 years older than me. So when I was 5 years old, she was 15, of course. So she was a young lady, and she made a lot of fun with me, and she made sure I had a lot of fun too. I remember one time my mother said, never take bubblegum to your bed with you, and I did, and of course it got on the pillow and got in my hair, and I came down to the kitchen table and screaming and hollering because that gum was in my head. So she called me Chewing Gum Kid. So she called me Chewing Gum Kid all my life, and she also had another funny name for me, Scubbo Skiwattendoddle, and she called me that till the last day that she was alive. So we had a lot of fun together, but she was my idol. She could play baseball like a boy. She was a tomboy. She could climb trees. She could do just about everything. And I remember when she graduated from nursing school, she had that crazy hat, that cardboard hat that the nurses used to wear, and I was so proud of her. And I always bragged about her to all my buddies and everything. Anything she did, it was just great for me. She was my hero. But when I was I'll tell you how important she was to me. When I was in elementary school, I had a part in a play, and I had to sing a song. And I did a pretty good job because my mother was proud of it. I don't even remember the song. But anyway, my sister came home and she said, Howie, I want you to sing this song to Bertha. And I could hardly sing it because I wanted to make her enjoy it, but I was just so nervous. I wanted to do it so well that I overcompensated. But anyway, later in life, she worked downtown at a soda. She was a soda jerk, and she made sundaes for us. And I remember she made the best banana split. They don't even have them nowadays, but it's 3 scoops of ice cream with banana. It's so delicious. So she did that, and anyway, she got married, and she moved out, and I kept in contact with her, of course, because anytime I had a medical problem, I had an ache or a pain or some sickness, I would call her up. She would have better advice than my mother because she had been through the schooling. So I kept in good contact with her, and I really appreciated the way she raised her children. She made sure her kids, she was a no-nonsense mother. She loved her kids, but she was no-nonsense, and her children were all so well-behaved. They made their beds in the morning when they woke up, and they worked around the house. They all had jobs. And that influenced me. I never became a father, but I taught school the same way. I was thought of as a no-nonsense teacher because I wanted my kids I loved them, but I wanted them to listen to me. So I used a lot of discipline the same way my sister did. So later in life, My mother got too old to take care of herself, and my sister lived 50 miles away. But my sister Bertha would spend one day with my mother. She would drive over to my mother's place. She would do her laundry, clean her house, take her out shopping. They'd go to a nice restaurant, buy groceries, come take her back home, and then go back home. So I always appreciated, I never could thank her enough for the things that she did. So it all started with a bike accident, and at the end of her life, I kept trying to contact with her, but she, like everybody in my family, got Alzheimer's disease. So when I would call her up, she kept less and less time, wanted to talk to me. Finally, at the end, I would ask her questions, and she would give me one-word answers. And that would go on for maybe a minute or two, and then she'd get nervous and she'd say, "Howie, I liked hearing your voice, but I have to go." So anyway, she is in all of my memories because she did so much for me in my life. Mr. Toastmaster.